In this video, we're going to have a look at an inferential stats exam question. So as always, we'll pull out our key information. So the first line we see, it's the weights of stones in bags, normally distributed. That's going to be useful. Mean weight of 48.6, standard deviation of 8.5, and then a random sample of 50 stones. So once I see the mention of a random sample, I know the central limit theorem will apply. And they want the probability that the mean weight will be less than 49 grams. So there's my first question. So what we're being asked to find is the probability that x is less than 49. We're going to convert that x value into a z-score, and because it's central limit theorem, our formula in the log tables is x minus mu over your standard deviation divided by root n. Your x value is 49. The mean, they tell us, is 48.6. Standard deviation of 8.5. And a sample of 50. Okay, so we sub into our formula now. So we have z is equal to 49 minus 48.6 all over our standard deviation of 8.5 over root 50 into the calculator. So we have 49 minus 48.6 all over 8.5 divided by 50. We get 0.3327561323, which we're going to round to 2 decimals for our log tables. So for z-score we get a value of 0.33. So we're looking for the probability that z is less than 0.33. We go to our log tables and we get 0.6295. So our answer there at the end is 0.6295 or 62.95%. Okay, that's part 1 answered for 10 marks. Part B now, we have find the limits within which the central 95% of such a sample mean lies. So we're looking here now for a 95% confidence interval. So it's going to be x bar plus or minus 1.96 times your standard deviation over root n. And again, we're just going to write out the values that we know. Our mean is 48.6. Standard deviation, they told us 8.5. And then we have 50 stones. So we get 48.6 minus 1.96 times 8.5 over root 50. And then same set of figures, we just add them this time. Okay, so 48.6 minus 1.96 bracket 8.5 divided by root 50 into your calculator. You'll get back quite a long decimal. We'll write it all out first before we round. So 46.2439. 2021 less than or equal to your mean, and then back to your calculator, swap your minus for a plus. 50.95, 607.979. Okay, so we're going to round to 2 decimals now, as that's what we were given in the question. And we'll have 46.24 will be less than or equal to your average, less than or equal to 50.96. So there's your 95% confidence interval for the mean. That's part B answered for 10 marks. And lastly now part C, how large a sample will be needed in order that the central 95%. Okay, so again now, it's a 95% confidence interval. So what happens here is, if we have a mean of 48.6, and if they tell us the width at most is 4 grams, it means for an interval you're going to have 2 on this side and 2 on that side. So that will give me 50.6 there and then 46.6 here. And we'll sub into our formula now, and our goal is to solve for n. So as always, the formula stays the same. And then for we've just 2 criteria here to set up. We can run both at the same time, but really you only need to run one of them. So standard deviation hasn't changed. That's still, what was it, 8.5. Then n we don't know, and then we have x bar is 46.6, or else x bar will be 50.6. Okay, so we sub into our, sorry, not here, x bar will remain the same. It'll be the answers for both of them will be 46.6 and then 50.6. Okay, so we have, okay, so for this first, the interval on the left, then we'll color code that blue. We'll get 48.6 minus 1.96 times 8.5 over root n would equal 46.6. There's my blue. Or the other option then is the green. And that would mean that 48.6 plus 1.96 times 8.5 over root 50 would give us back 50.6. That'll be root n. And there's your green. Okay, so I'm going to run the 2 down together, but as I said, you only need to pick one to get your answer. Okay, so we get 48.6 minus 46.6 will equal 1.96. I bring this over to make it positive. That'll give me back 2. I'll divide across by 1.96. That's going to equal 8.5 over root n. Into your calculator, 2 divided by 1.96 will give us quite a long decimal. So we get 1.020408.163, and we'll bring up our root n. Will equal 8.5. So then we get root n is going to equal 8.5 divided by our long decimal, 1.020408.163. We want to get rid of the n, so we'll square both sides. The root and the square will cancel, and at the end then we get 8 over 1.020483 squared out. You get 61.46560003. What did I miss in my calculator? Oh, 8.5. There we go. So 69.38890004. So we've just gone past 69 stones. So then will be 70 stones. And then here we'll run the right hand side. We'll get the same answer again. So I'll bring my 48.6 over. So we'll get 8.5 over root n is going to equal to 2 divided by 1.96. You'd see here same set of figures now. So we'll have 8.5. We're going to multiply across by n. This into your calculator gives you 1.020408.163 times root n. And then as above, we're going to square it out. So we'll have here on the bottom 8.5 on top will be squared out, and then we have root n squared. The square will cancel into your calculator and we'll get 69.3889. 0.0004 will equal n. So then n again is 70 stones. That's 10 marks for that question. And then overall 30 marks. And that's us done.